Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. I'm now going to make the sourdough bread that I made from the sourdough starter. And there's the bread. It looked nice. Hello there, sourdough. So my sourdough starter has been a success. I have been looking after this thing for actually probably about 2 weeks. The recipes I followed said 10 days is absolutely perfect for it should be ready perfectly by then, and it was. But I've just continued to feed it each day, so still removing and then adding to it each day. I have had one attempt so far at the sourdough and wasn't video worthy. Failed. This is what's left of it. It's not horrible. It's got amazing crust on it, but I don't know if you can see, nowhere near the sort of life in there, the pockets of air that you would want. It's really tight, and as I went on, it became such a wet, sticky mess, and I didn't know how to deal with it. So as a first attempt, I was just adding flour and watching video after video after video. So I think now I understand what I've done wrong with that one. If you're watching this, it will mean that this one has worked. Anyway, so it is as simple as this though, right? I've got my starter, some salt, I'm using a strong bread flour, and my scales. And there's some water in here for spritzing. We're going to work with this thing sort of like with damp surfaces rather than floured surfaces, because adding flour, it will just say, yes please, I'll have some more flour, and then you end up with something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what went wrong with it. Anyway, so yeah, going to crack on now, and this time tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be baking the bread, approximately this time tomorrow. Anyway, see how it goes, shall we? Okay, so there's my lovely bubbly starter. Every day I've been removing 140 grams and replacing it with 140 grams of half and half water and flour. But for this recipe I just needed 100. So after I did that, I also took out another 40 grams because I wanted to keep it going. And I also have some in my fridge for another dough and another time, because it will keep in the fridge. You can leave it almost dormant. But here we go. In a bowl, flour, the water, the yeast and the salt. Some people say that the salt will slow down the fermentation, and yes, they're right, it does work against the yeast, but this is sourdough, it's a slow process anyway, so the longer, the slower, the more flavour this thing develops, so that's okay in this occasion. Just work that together with your bench scraper to like what you call a shaggy dough. I'm not going to take it out of the bowl at this stage. I'm just going to get my hands damp and work on it. So resist the urge to add flour until much later stages, because it will just gobble up that flour. So damp hand, just roll it around, just bring it together. We're not kneading it at this stage. There is a technique that I will give a try to the next time I make sourdough without recording it. It's like a scooping and flopping method. I'm going to try that and see whether that gives me a better result or not. But okay, so it's had its first rest. I just sort of spray the edges of it, the top, spray the work surface. This is just the water, and your hands and your scraper, whatever's going to come into contact with the dough, just spray it with water. We're scooping out here, and we're going to do the first of 4 stretch and folds. So stretch it out, fold it over, stretch it out, fold it over. Don't let it tear. The whole point of this is you sort of stretch it, but not past the point where it will let you go before it gives up. So out and in. I'm an absolute novice when it comes to sourdough, so there'll be, if you're a baker out there and you're watching this, I apologise, but the point of me doing this is to try to encourage other novices to go, okay, so Uncle Matt's having a go at doing it, I'm going to give it a try as well. It's less daunting now seeing somebody that doesn't know what they're doing actually do it. I think it's a good idea. Anyway, so cover that again. And I say you've got a couple of hours in between, so this is one of those occasions where if Jerry Halliwell, your next door neighbour, you know, Ginger Spice from the Spice Girls, the clumsy one that keeps bothering you, if she calls and says she's been doing a bit of topless sunbathing in the back garden, she's locked herself out and you're the only one with a spare key, can you pop round and let her in? You can say, okay, Jerry, you clumsy mare, yeah, I'll be round in a minute actually, because I'm making sourdough bread. I'm not in a hurry. Anyway, if only. So you can see me again, stretching and folding. I think this is the second time we're doing that. And you can see me dither. Oh, it tore. You see that there? Now, that's not good. So you don't want that. I stretched it too far and it tore. So obviously it hasn't built up the gluten yet. Every time we do this stretching and folding, we're trying to build structure into this bread, and we're also gassing the dough. There you go, that's an expression. Layers of air will go in there, and we're building that up and building that up. That's proved up very nicely. Okay, this is the third turn. I decided to use my rubber spatula to get it out because it's more effective. Here we go, third fold. Is this getting easier to work with? I don't know. It's still really difficult. I'm going to be honest with you, but there you go. It didn't tear then. That was good. Yeah, I think it's getting easier. It's quite difficult to tell, and the whole time it does just feel like an absolute bloody nightmare to work with, and it's just one of those things I suppose you just have to get used to, and the more you do this, the more it will make sense, and I hope I get to that point where all of a sudden I feel a lot more confident and I'm able to understand why the dough behaves the way it does. But at this stage here, we've got obviously a fairly wet dough, high hydration percentage. I don't know what it is, I don't know how to calculate it is, but it's definitely a wet dough. Now this is then the first time I'm doing it with flour, so this is the fourth and final sort of stretch and fold before we start shaping it. The bench scraper is absolutely crucial the whole time you're trying to do this. There you go, it's not tearing at all, it's stretching, but you'll find if you keep trying to do the stretch and folds, after a while it will stop, it resists you, and that's, I think, is the gluten's developing, which is good. And another one. Will we get another one? Yeah. Oh, sticking to the table, that's not good, so that's your bench scraper. Get that there, but you can see the bubbles forming in it. It's looking really good. So I've changed the bowl now because the other one was a bit of a mess. All right. Now this is the first of the shapings, the pre-shape. So stretch it, basically stretching and folding in, but we're not going to put it back in a bowl after this. So stretch it, fold it. Gets a bit repetitive, I suppose. That flour's handy. Just tidies up your hands a little bit. There we go. Oh, that's looking nice. What we're trying to get is a nice sort of stretched out, taut, smooth outer skin. And there we go. And tuck it in. So we're forming into a ball. And there's this technique where you sort of you roll it with your hands. You can use the bench scraper as well, and you use the bottom of it to sort of catch on the table to try to tighten up the surface on the top. Looking really good. So now we're just going to cover that with a tea towel. 1 hour later, you can see it's sort of it's spread out, and that's fine. This is why we're going to be cooking this thing in a Dutch oven, so it holds it in place and it gives it somewhere it's going to prove again, and it's going to raise while it bakes, so it'll rise upwards rather than outwards. So flop it over onto its floured side. Now that's exposing the underside, which is sticky, which we need that sticky side for the folding again, so that when we fold the dough over, it's got something to stick to. So this is the last time now we're doing this. And I'm aware this is a long video, but it's really hard to sort of try to edit this down into a shorter video because each step does seem to be very necessary. And we're almost there. It's looking good. It's genuinely looking really good. It's nice when you watch it edited. You can see the difference. When you're actually making this at the time, you think it doesn't seem any different from it did at the beginning, and then actually in hindsight, no, it's completely different now. But the no knead, because this is technically a no knead type of dough, it's going to have a long time sitting in the fridge, and that time in the fridge is also a time to let the gluten develop. That's the whole point of those doughs. So there we go, we've got a nice shape now. We're going to now leave it in the fridge overnight. So I don't have a banaton. A banaton, by the way, is one of those fancy looking baskets that gives the sourdough that traditional look with the lines on it, but we don't have one, and I wasn't going to run out and buy one just straight away. No, we're going to show you how we can do it without one. So I'm going to use the tea towel and that glass bowl. So that's going to be my banaton. The tea towel is important, and you do need to heavily flour it. If you have rice flour, of course you don't have rice flour. Having any flour at the moment is just like gold dust. But if you had rice flour, by the way, that's better. It's less sticky apparently. There we go. So that uncovered now in the fridge overnight. And I do apologise. I don't think there's any need for you to have seen the state of me in the morning, but there we go. Oh, yeah. I haven't even had a cup of tea yet. Right, let's get this on the go. So that's had about 16 hours. It's developed a bit of a crust, but don't worry about it because that's the bottom of the loaf. That's not the top. But it's still, you can see it's responsive, but it doesn't come back too quickly. If it bounces back really quickly, it's not proved enough. Nice hot oven. And in the preheating oven, I've also got my Dutch oven, which is that cast iron pan I have got. You're going to need one of them. If you've got to this stage of the video and didn't realise that, I'm ever so sorry. This recipe's not going to work without one. I don't think it will. It will, but you'll end up with a very sort of flat, spread out dough. So turn that onto the floured baking parchment. The baking parchment is just so I can pick this up more easily and put it into my Dutch oven. Just brushing off a bit of the extra dust. I don't have a razor blade, but I've got a Stanley knife. This slice I'm going to do here is about 1/2 centimetre deep. The whole point of it, it looks nice, but it also, what it does is this bread is going to expand as it cooks. That pan is absolutely roasting hot. It's going to expand, so that slice you made into it, which is, they call it the ear, basically that decides where it's going to expand, and it will look nice. So a little spray of water on there again. Keep the surface slightly moist. That the moistness, the steam helps this thing expand. It doesn't create a crust too soon, and then if it creates a crust too soon, it won't rise. There you go. 20 minutes later, removing the lid. It's going back in the oven for another 20 minutes or so. But the oven's going down now, and there you go. That's it. That's nice. So take it out there stylishly, or not. Just dump it on the side there, and I made a mistake here. It's cooked, it's ready, it's lovely. But I just wish I'd given it another few minutes in the oven to get a really, really deep golden brown colour onto it, because I think that would have improved the flavour as well. But oh yes, I'm very happy. I've got to say, I've made bread hundreds of times with yeast, but to make it with a starter that I made as well, it does feel different. It's a very, very satisfying feeling. It's not perfect. It's got a nice gloss to it in the inside. It's good. I'd say it's good. If you're a professional baker out there, you can tell me off and all that, but I think it's pretty decent. It's not perfect. But the whole point again of this video was to encourage you. Anyway, back over to me. Right, sourdough's done. And you're watching this, so it came out all right. I'm not going to say I've made the best sourdough in the world. I am very pleased with what I've done, but being very self-critical, I think that needed 3-4 minutes longer in the oven. Anyway, I'm trying to taste this stuff, so obviously lashes of butter on it and a bit of sea salt. It's a different flavour. Sourdough, that has a distinctive flavour, and that is there, so that is well worth doing.
It's absolutely delicious. Yeah, maybe a little bit more chewy in the middle than I would want it to be. By all means, if you can, give sourdough a go. I think it's, you know, the whole point is it took that long to make it. There's ownership in that. You know, I made that. I made the starter that made the dough. You know, it really is quite, yeah, it feels good. Anyway, and it tastes great. See you soon. Bye.